one thing I think the Niners defense is kind of getting knocked on lately, and fairly so, is they have some openings in the pass defense. Like, you can go get behind them. And I think it's true. Like, obviously, if you get a elite guy on Lenore, that's an advantage for you. And Tarvarius, really good player, but no one, he's not Revis, right? He just gave up a play to DK Metcalf. But that's fucking DK Metcalf, who, beside like Revis, Dion, and maybe like Richard in his prime, on a go route, could he smoke any DBs ever of the last 20 years? Probably. So I don't even think like that's that crazy of a play. So it's like, oh, the Cowboys can get after him. Well, yeah, with who? CD, that's not really his game. He's more of like a Keenan Allen-y on steroids type, physical, can make, but he's not a go route guy. Cedric Wilson's gone. Amari, who's more of a route runner, but he could use his speed, is not on the team anymore. Schultz actually can stretch the field, but he's a tight end. The Cowboys, the Niners are susceptible. If you have Tyreek, DK, I think A.J. Brown, while he's not a speed demon, can run that play. Likes, throw it to me down the sideline, like a slower version of DK. I'll just fucking body you up. The Cowboys are not really built like that, I would say, to throw go routes.
Yeah.
Because that is a weakness of this Niners defense, of just hitting, because they're safeties.
But I also think they're susceptible on, the classic. We've seen it a lot with them, 3rd and 14, and that seam ball gets them. I mean, we've seen that plenty. Or
I would say they're more susceptible this week of Schultz than I am like CeeDee Lamb going 12 or going like a Devontae Adams on them.
I think Schultz is terrifying for the 49ers. My conclusion is not, somebody asked like, well, what's your conclusion? My conclusion is not, oh, the Cowboys suck or the Cowboys can't win. My conclusion is just, if Mike McCarthy plays enough of these big games, I think his team's shortcomings will come out. But this is just a one-off. So, the Kellen Moore, D'Amico Ryans matchup you're talking about. The other thing, Tony Pollard's, they didn't play Tony Pollard last year. Tony Pollard's there now.
I think a lot of Cowboy fans remember where Matt. A lot of Cowboy fans are like, why aren't we giving this guy the ball more last year? It's like Zeke's not fast anymore. And this year they don't. They just, Zeke's their 12 touchdowns, red zone guy. Tony, they feed that fucking guy the ball. He can play.
So you saying you think it's the matchup D'Amico versus Kellen is interesting because it's D'Amico's, he's interviewing for jobs. Kellen kind of was getting the D'Amico treatment a few years ago where it was just a matter of time before he was a head coach. And it still may be, but both these guys have something to prove again, can prove something. It's a win in this little chess match between the OC and the DC here. And you're right. Kellen doesn't have, Devontae Smith, but he's got a lot of little pieces to work with.
Well, I mean, they signed T.Y. He's made a couple plays. CD's really good. I mean, I'm not now. I don't ever view him becoming that AJ DK tier. I think a lot of people think he's like one of those 1Bs or would be like an elite 2. And who have smoked the Niners? The elite guys, right? Devontae's kicked their ass for a couple of years now, and their defense has been good. A.J. Brown last year destroyed them. Now their DBs, obviously, it was different. DK just kicked their ass. I don't view one guy just being able to take over. I don't think CD is. I would be stunned if it's like a 10 for 140 day from CeeDee Lamb. Now,
which is basically what he did to the Eagles.
He can get 6 or 7, and if Dalton Schultz gets 6 or 7 and a touchdown like that's where it starts getting a little nerve wracking.
Mikey B says CD is more like Ayuk level.
Yeah, I actually think Ayuk, if we get there next week, I think Ayuk and Devontae Smith, who Devontae clearly in high school much more heralded, or I mean, not high school too, but in college, Heisman Trophy winner, just I think he's more that. CD's more, to me, more of a physical. I don't even know. I'd have to think about his comp. What people were hoping like N'Keal Harry would be.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting because N'Keal never looked for a second like that guy once he got to the pros, right? Kind of a move him around. In college, they moved him all over the place.
Yeah, just a really good player. I mean, he's really good.
The Niners probably would do more of that stuff with Brandon if they had to, but they don't. Like jet sweeps and end arounds and that kind of stuff with him.
But their other receiver does that.
Yeah, right? They got 2 running backs that do it, and Ayuk has turned into Ayuk. When you go back and watch last year, got open a lot in the game. We can flip the offense in a second, but Ayuk got open a lot in the game last year.
No one's confusing old James Garoppolo for Peyton Manning.
D'Amico, you just said like Did you
is
say
interviewing currently right now with somebody.
he's actually on this show? But the Niners have Emmanuel Mosley played well last year. Other than him, right now they got everything they want. Bosa got hurt last year in the game.
Well, they hit Amari had a nice touchdown in the game, right? In the Cowboy Niner game, in the playoff game, like in the kind of a little flag route toward the pylon.
It was pitch and catch.
Yeah, it was pretty easy. Now they're DBs.
Ambry Thomas played a lot that day too.
Yeah, with Josh, correct?
Josh Norman, yeah, he was there. He was there. But anyway, I just think like the thing for D'Amico this week is what we kind of talked about in the McCarthy conversation is just, D'Amico's doing a press conference right now. We found him.
Got a busy day today, guys. Just getting out the practice field, talking to you guys. Then headed to. I got to check my schedule. Some team wants to interview me, and then I got another one tomorrow. Yeah. So let's speed this up, guys.
D'Amico, we got an interview at 2. Oh, you mean a media interview? But one thing D'Amico gets this week is a guy who will have some. You know what we were saying? I made the comment to you the other day. Like we only talk about designer blitzes. We don't talk about designer offensive plays. I think maybe that's what Kellen Moore has cooked up. I guess designer probably means they're more specific for their opponent. It feels like Kellen's just got like a book of a bunch of trick plays he's waiting to pull out. And I think Mike's probably got him too. And I think they probably make McCarthy really happy. So
wouldn't you like trick plays if you were a coach?
Of course. D'Amico brought the heat didn't blitz a lot last year, but he blitzed in a big spot and Dak almost hit Cedric Wilson for a big play. You read
the Ringer D'Amico profile?
No,
saw it on my timeline.
Ringer,
yeah, it got retweeted into my time. I got
to read it.
Little I didn't go to the website again. Just clicked on it. Was in front of my eyes. Again, I mean, it's just I wouldn't say a puff. High level guy. People are gonna blow him. Yeah,
smart guy.
Some impressive stuff of like his football knowledge, and it goes back to like when he was a rookie, he was the defensive rookie of the year. His when he was drafted in the second round by the Texans, the defensive coordinator, I forget who it was, or one of the defensive coaches was saying, and you coach for long enough, you get really smart players who come off the field and they say, your team captain, usually safety or linebacker, says like, we got to start doing this, this, and this. They're doing this. What we liked on Thursday, Friday, not going to work. And you just work with your kind of captains, like your high-level intellect guys, which football 101. He's like, never in all my years have I had a rookie come off. And we'd look at each other like, didn't think of that. Yeah, let's implement in the middle of games. So Kellen Moore was once jolted up like he's going to be a head coach. It's in a short period of time, D'Amico went from quality control to lapping guys like him as he said, I guess, in his press conference right now, I'm interviewing with the Broncos later today in person. Of just where it feels a little unlikely that he's not going to get a job, though, when you start really looking at it, he's not guaranteed a job, right?
No. I mean, if you were Arizona, I think it would make a lot of sense to hire him if you're Arizona because you play McVay and you play Shanahan 4 times a year and Shane Waldron. To me, I hadn't really thought about it a ton, but I think I'd probably hire him if I were Arizona.
Would he take the job?
I mean, is it gonna? You don't have to pay him Sean Payton $20 million a year, but
he turned down jobs last year. Remember?
Yeah, he might turn it down, but to me that would be different than turning down the Texans. I know Kyler feels like an albatross, but he's played Kyler. He played in the NFL. Like D'Amico just played in the NFL. He knows how to handle a locker room.
He came out and said that the Texans thing, he's interviewing with them. Like,
well, I know, but yeah, I just mean like,
I'm with you. If you're Arizona, how's he not in your? He should be a finalist. It's like, yeah, you're already in our finalists.
Who would you have above him right now?
Brian Flores, maybe, who's been a head coach, also defensive mind, and a dick. Like, I think you just kind of need someone in Kyler's ass. Because you're in the boat with Kyler for years, so it's
right.
Someone
that maybe break Kyler and make him quit. Is that the idea?
Yeah, not a terrible idea. Maybe D'Amico's just too nice to him.
What do you think of this? I mean, it's the more I think about it, it's just a cool young coordinator matchup. Like 2 guys that get a lot of attention. Obviously, D'Amico was kind of on his own, but
it's a good one. I think it's a big day for Kellen too, because last year, I think they might have been the best offense in the league. They were one of them.
They were the best offense in the league last year.
And to be down 23-7 going into the fourth quarter, like D'Amico kind of took his fucking lunch. And the Niners defense, while it was really good, was not viewed like it is right now. So a team that I would say defense was a huge part of their operation getting in the playoffs, the defense and Debo. But D'Amico took the guy's lunch. And you could argue that moment has kind of derailed the Kellen Moore hype train. And D'Amico's jolted. And I would say this year he was spoken about like top defensive candidate, right? And just one of the bright young coaches in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, I think D'Amico Ryans is held even higher standard, just like the way people talk about him, than like 15 head coaches as well. Like people just super high character, super high level football level, elite coach, just the total package. Like inevitable. This guy's whatever he chooses to do it, like he's coming. He's going to be as long as he wants to do it.
Isn't it funny that like publicly with D'Amico, it's so obvious now, but it was just a couple of years ago. He was just the Niners inside linebacker coach for 2 years. He was their quality control coach for a year. He was just 3 years kind of anonymously on their coaching staff.
Well, that's what the Ringer, the article was basically like. D'Amico's entire career has been about other people's predictions. Like early on, it was like, this guy's the smartest football player I've ever seen as a rookie. And he went on to be that, right, as his career. Kyle Shanahan, when he was a quality control coach, it's only a matter of time before D'Amico is a position coach. When he's a position coach, it's only, and these are quotes, real quotes from Kyle. It's only a matter of time till he's a defensive coordinator. He's a defensive coordinator. It's inevitable D'Amico Ryan's going to be a head coach. Like his whole career has been people predicting the next step for D'Amico, and they've never been proven wrong.
Good guy to bet on.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And
it is.
So, yeah.